This show is brought to you by Directory.com, the safest way to hire a contractor.
And we are back discussing insurance policies, how to read them, how to understand them. If you are a homeowner, have Chris here all the way from Texas. He knows all about deductibles. And Chris, I want to ask you this, like, why deductible is so hard to understand, even for roofers? Why so many roofers offer to cover deductibles, especially in Texas?
I think the biggest thing is they're just desperate. Contractors are desperate.
Because it's competitive?
Competitive. I mean, I think that, guys are looking for a competitive edge and they feel like they have to sell out their industry. And when they do that, it becomes a desperate practice. And I think when you first start in your business, I think that deductibles are the only way that they feel as if they can compete. And when you're competing with a deductible, what you're basically having to do is you're having to fraud the consumer. I mean, you're going out here, you're taking from money that's been given to you by an insurance company that you've paid for, it's rightfully yours. But everyone's deductible was different. I mean, and I think this whole thing of deductibles came to play years ago when you would have a $250, $500 deductible. Now you've got tens of thousands of dollars worth of deductibles. So that I don't believe ethically you can, number one, I don't think you can stay in business 6 months if you eat deductibles. I just don't see how in the world it's going to happen. At my company, we 100%, you pay your deductible, we replace the roof. No questions, no ifs, ands, buts about it. That's the method, and that's how it's supposed to be. It's no different than going to the doctor and asking your doctor to do surgery, and they're going to go, oh, okay, we'll wheel you back here, but you need to also pay your copay, or we're not going to see you in the back room. But we can hold out on your surgery.
Absolutely. Let's role play. I want you to explain deductible to the homeowner who comes to you with this. Chris, I'm pretty sure I already paid deductible. I've seen, an insurance check. Like I've seen the numbers. Like a lot of homeowners like to play a little dumb that they didn't understand. I give you everything my insurance gave you. Like I paid my deductible already. How do you explain to a homeowner what is deductible and why they have to pay, why it's not included in that original check?
Well, I always like to tell anyone that to ask us to go, well, we've already paid the deductible. And my first thing is, well, let's call your insurance company and ask them. That's just the easiest way to do it. And let the adjuster explain to them that they paid less the deductible. They don't pay the deductible. There's a lot of misnomers on that. The insurance company is not going to pay your deductible. Now, I will say there are high-end luxury policies that I've seen out there where if you were to make a claim and let's say it was a $100,000 roof and you went over $50,000, that deductible was waived. I mean, so you don't see those much anymore, but those are with very high net worth individuals, and that would actually cover the entire amount. So a deductible wasn't into play. But in today's world, deductible is no different than when I like to always say it goes back to, your doctor. You walk in the door, the first thing they ask you for is your deductible. It's no different. We're the doctors of roofing. We're not just like roofing contractors at this point. And I don't think a lot of people want to always get involved in this insurance side of the business because there is a retail business, and that is what truly we are. We do insurance, but reality is roofing contractors are retail businesses. Mm-hmm. And so, it just so happens we accept deductibles, no different than body shops. So body shops will go out here and do your car, and they care less about your deductible.
I think the biggest difference is roofers, construction guys, or storm chasers in particular, they have trained their homeowners over the years that we waive deductibles. So body shops never did it, doctors never did it, but thousands and thousands of roofers, came at the door and say, you don't have to pay. Or let me ask you this. This is controversial. I have a very strong opinion on it, but I wonder where you on it. Is it insurance fraud? If you say, I will cover your deductible if you let me put a yard sign in front of your house for a month, marketing fee. A lot of guys will not openly say, we cover your deductible, but they'll say, we'll do something for the deductible. And usually it's, yard sign or for referrals or whatever, not tangible. You cannot put value in it, but they put value in it because that's how they try to get around it.
Well, I'll tell you this. I'm not an attorney, so I can't give legal advice on that opinion. But I will say that in the state of Texas, where we're at, it is insurance fraud if you're eating deductibles. Now, define eating if you're covering them. To me, if you're attempting in any manner to go out here to fraud an insurance company and say that they've made payments which they didn't do, in the end, that's deductible fraud. So I'm not an attorney, and trust me, this is a topic you and I can talk about all day, every day. I believe that what they should do is, one, if there are deductible leaders out here, you know what? Put them to the test. Take them to court. Let's show what if it really is. I mean, case law I think is out there. I think there's some guys out there, but I think guys giving people upgrades is, to me, you're not eating the deductible. That's, if you want to lose your profit, that's your profit to lose. But for me, and what I see is, the deductible is part of the insurance. If not, don't do insurance work. If you're not going to collect deductibles, just do straight retail, hand them a bid, and let the consumer go out here and deal with the insurance company. If you want experts, then the consumer will go to the contractor and they are the experts. But understand, roofing contractors in Texas, where we're at, we have public adjusters. And there is a slippery slope when you're acting under these UPPA laws where you're practicing as a public adjuster. I think the method that we do at my company at Outback Roofing is we stay in our lane. And I think, there's always a place for people to go out here and, deal with attorneys, deal with public adjusters. And the deductible thing is always pay your deductible. You get your roof done. That's my motto at my company, and I'm going to stick by that. And you know what? If not, I'll just do straight retail.
100%. Well, for my homeowners out there, I also want you to think about this. If you look at the numbers, if you look at the statistics, 80% of contractors, roofers, go out of business within 2 years, 95% within 5 years. Mm-hmm. And it might not sound like a big deal. They're profitable. A lot of homeowners like to count contractors' money. They say, well, you're working on a $20,000, $30,000 job. You can cover $1,000. I've heard a lot from homeowners pushing it, saying, you'll be fine. It's a big claim. You have a lot of profit, but you will be surprised if contractor does one roof a day, 5 days a week, and he eats deductible on every single job. That's $5,000 a week. I don't want you to ever think that contractors make, yes, roofers do make millions in sales, but 30% of it goes to materials. 30% of it goes to labor. There's big overhead that, when you ask your roofer for that $1,000, $1,500, and, sometimes a couple $1,000. Mm-hmm. When I was a contractor here in Minneapolis for 7 years, I've literally have homeowners say, to make sure I don't owe you anything, it would be like $1,800 final bill. You did okay on my project. Like counting my profit. And I'm like, if every homeowner would do it to me, I would be out of business.
For
and
sure.
Unfortunately, some contractors are dumb enough not to understand their profit margins, their overhead. So They are doing it, but that's the reason we have this statistics of failure of 80%. It's crazy.
Right.
Do you want your roofer to be in business 2 years from now? If you do, never ask to cover deductible.
100%. I mean, the margins in our industry, though, have shrunk. I remember when I got into roofing, the first thing I remember is funny, you had these 30%. I remember it was 25% labor, 25% material, and 50% profit. Those were the great days. But let's go back 24 years ago. And deductibles were $250. So you had a business that actually was very sustainable back then. Today, you actually have so much software that's out here that is weaponized against the contractor. So you're only as good as what one person can actually use the software that they're using, especially the insurance companies. And, we see bids all over the place. And I think the homeowners, they don't understand the documents that come from the insurance carrier. If they did, then I don't think there would be a need for roofing contractors to go over it and discuss it with them. But the margins have shrunk. And our insurance, workers' comp, general liability, the things that you need to have as far as like with your roofing company, those haven't gone down.
Plus inflation in general. I mean, we used to pay $30,000 to drive a truck. Today is $100,000 to drive a truck, right? Like everything increased. Plus you have a
everything.
Everything. What's the biggest deductible that you've seen in your lifetime or like as a contractor?
I did a roof here about 3 years ago, and it was a $60,000 deductible.
How big was the roof?
It was about 225 squares, 22,000 square foot home.
Wow.
Yeah. And you know whose house it was? It was Deion Sanders, his original home when he went to, when he became a Dallas Cowboy. And my client actually bought it. He was the third owner after Deion, or second owner after Deion.
Very cool.
And I did that roof for them.
$60,000.
$60,000.
Think about covering that.
Yeah, you ain't covering it. I promise you. You're not covering that deductible. But and the good homeowners realize it's even better than deductibles. Forget about the deductible thing. It's all about quality. This homeowner didn't just see a $60,000 deductible. He saw the opportunity to put a better roof on and came out of pocket another $100,000 for a Da Vinci product.
Wow. Da Vinci is amazing, amazing roof.
I agree, 100%.
And you definitely see the trend that insurance companies are pushing for higher deductibles because they don't want to pay as much as they're paying right now. So it's definitely the trend. When we come back, we're going to cover supplements. We will help you understand this insurance billing process, why contractors supplement insurance companies, why insurance companies low bid, I would say, contractors in the first place. People don't understand that 30-40% is a national average shortage for initial estimate from insurance company. All of that when we come back.